I believe strongly that it's a basic human need to give and receive recognition. Basic human need. Acknowledgement. There's nothing worse than either feeling like, if I want to say that so-and-so's phenomenal, that I don't have an outlet for that.
This is the Mostly Middle Tennessee Business Podcast, a podcast about Middle Tennessee business owners and professionals. Mostly.
As always, Mr. Matt Wilson, thank you for the big VO there. He's the one that always does it for us. This is the Mostly Middle Tennessee Business Podcast, where we talk to mostly Middle Tennessee business owners, entrepreneurs, and professionals. But occasionally we deviate. We go outside the Middle Tennessee area, which is kind of what we're doing today. This is a podcast powered by Christian Brothers Automotive in Spring Hill. Great place to go check out if your car needs some work. Check those guys out for oil changes, all the things. Jason Miller is the owner there, and he does a great job, especially reaching out to the community in Spring Hill. A lot of people, since he's taken ownership, that lot is full. So that's he's doing a lot of really good work there, and they have the best snack game in town. So something to consider as well when you're going out there. Today, we're on location at the Tremont Mansion, and with me today, I have, is it Beth Polish? One of the things I probably should have gotten out of the way before we started recording, but you'd think I know these things. Beth Polish, welcome to the show.
Thank you. And you're not alone. People want to say Polish, and then they think, maybe not, it's Polish, and they go with that.
Because it could be one of two ways, right?
Right.
But, it's like I didn't think to ask until now.
It's okay, but it's just really it's just so funny because people, you see them started. You started to say Polish correctly, and you corrected yourself.
I'm like, oh, gosh, I forgot to ask.
It's just funny.
It's not the first time I've done this. I mean, I've forgotten people's names in front of, 4,000 people audiences one time. That's a whole separate story.
At least you asked.
I asked, but then I'm like in front of 4,000 people introducing a band, and I forgot their name. And they're waiting in the wings, waiting for oh, man.
It's just
You know what their name was? The Martins. How do you forget the Martins?
It should be easy, but maybe because it's easy, it's harder.
Well, I don't know. You and I kind of had a little pregame earlier, talked and got to know each other, and we're from the same neck of the woods.
We are.
I came out of Connecticut for the first 25 years of my life. Connecticut's like a small suburb of New York, pretty much. And you live in Manhattan.
I do.
Have you always lived there?
I have always lived in Manhattan.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I'm on Riverside Drive between 86th and 87th Street.
Right on. That's that turns into Henry Hudson.
Yes. The Henry Hudson Parkway is right below. Mm-hmm. And my kids are the third generation in the apartment. So I grew up in this apartment. I do not say, my husband and I do not live in my parents' bedroom. We did change the room. My kids went to the same public elementary school as me and the same high school as I did.
So all your life you're there? Yeah,
I moved to LA for 5 years.
Okay.
And I have lived on the Upper East Side too, on East 87th Street. But at the end of the day, I'm right back where I started. And I never expected. I thought I would live in rural Vermont or something like that and be riding horses all day.
Well, considering that you grew up there, your parents were familiar with it and everything. So, one of the things the kids always want to do is something different than the parents, right?
Right.
Yeah, because I ended up moving to Vegas, and now I live in Nashville.
Right.
Vegas gave us perspective. I'm like, I don't want to live in the Northeast anymore. So, the weather.
It's the weather.
It's the weather.
The weather's tough. But then again, down here, you got humidity.
We do have humidity. It's it's somewhat seasonal. We get a little taste of winter and certainly fall, but enough of winter.
Of winter.
I got a taste of winter, and I got my quota filled a couple of years ago in Cleveland. I'm like, I'm good. For the first time.
With it.
Oh, man. Yeah. But I mean, it's cool that you came up there, and I think of Frank Sinatra's song, New York, New York. If you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. Mm-hmm. Tell me about how you got into it, because you're certainly, you've done a few things. I'm going to read off what I have here. You started your career in a small advanced research firm at D&B, Dun Bradstreet, I'm assuming, reporting to the CTO. You then went into the New York tech community, founding COO and CFO of iVillage, the president of Dream Life, which you co-founded with Tony Robbins, none other than Tony Robbins. You were with KPMG, Goldman Sachs Ventures. You've done a lot over the years, but I always like to go back to the beginning. What piqued your interest in all this? Were your parents entrepreneurs? Were they working people? How did it all begin?
My mother was an artist turned. She grew up in Providence, Rhode Island, and Halifax, Nova Scotia.
Oh, wow.
And she was first generation, and she thought she was going to college, and her mother English wasn't the first language at home, and she thought she was going to go to college, and her father said no. Mm-hmm. And her brother actually sent in applications to colleges, and she one day walked in and said, you're not, you're going to college, and you're going to do that. So the typical kind of story. But then she became a psychiatric social worker. My father grew up in Bensonhurst, so he had a lot of stories of what it was like to grow up in Bensonhurst, Brooklyn, where, with the cop going around swinging the baton and knowing
the
what to do, and just sort of go, it's time to go inside now. But he then became a lawyer. And so I think that there was always just this curiosity for the world that in our home, we were just curious about the world. And he had a phrase that you don't live to work, you work to live.
Right.
Sometimes I think I fail him in that. He also said that one of the things that differentiated us as human beings was dreaming. So I think this is my long-winded answer to your question, which is that I'm driven by an insatiable curiosity, and that has led me to try new things even when people thought I was crazy to do them.
Do you feel like you're working to live?
I feel like at times I'm working to live rather than the reverse. I mean, there are times where it just feels like you just got to get the stuff done, and what living means is taking a back seat. So I'm living to work. And then when that epiphany happens in the middle of the night, then I know I need to readjust. So I'm conscious of it. Right.
So the best, because it's kind of like an interesting play on words, live to work or work to live. Like you're talking about, a lot of people live to work because I guess they love what they're doing.
Yes.
And they don't see work as work, That's one of the things that even my parents, I think my father, he owned a telephone interconnect business around the tri-state area.
Yeah.
And I learned the trades because of him and everything. Tried college, it didn't work out. But it made me learn early on that if I'm going to be doing something, even no matter how much it pays, I'll enjoy it. I want to enjoy it. And that's how radio came to be. And for 18 years, I loved it. It was my thing. And, to a certain extent, I'm still doing it. What was the first job that you had that you're like, that started to sink in for you?
So my experience at D&B was game changing because we were a secret R&D group. And I think I was the 11th person in there, and I wasn't a developer. I came in to develop some commercial applications. And it was practically my first job out of college. I was an anthropology major. What are you going to do with anthropology? Except that it gave me, I say it's the best degree I could have gotten to be in business or entrepreneurship, because you see the world through somebody else's eyes, not a judging set. It's not like you stand on the side and judge. You're within, and to the best you can, you're trying to understand what's going on. And I think that was just a phenomenal education. I just wouldn't have known that at the time. I went to be a large animal vet. You know me, other people who are just sitting here would know that I'm 5'1.5" on a really good day, and to be a large animal vet kind of just wasn't working out. And so I think that I learned from George Feeney, who was the CTO at the time. I learned the gift of doing really good hard work, and that could be really interesting to do.
Yeah.
So that was really nice. I think that I can't say though that I really loved it, but I didn't have a community in the same way. When I produced children's programs that were on Showtime, and that was magical. I would have done that for free.
What were some of the programs?
The Velveteen Rabbit, and it took people like Meryl Streep and Robin Williams, and Jodie Foster would do the narration. We would get original illustrations done, and phenomenal musical artists would do the music behind it. And we would take the video, and there could be a book, and it would be on American Airlines had it. And so we would cut it up and use it in different modalities.
Oh, wow.
And that was pure magic to me. I can't even begin to tell you how magical that was. And they were really good. I produced 3 that were Grammy nominated. And I learned the business of entertainment by doing that. And I loved it. When I went to iVillage and we were in the nascency of the New York tech community, and nobody understands how hard it was, and there weren't women in tech at the time. Those people I am still in touch with. Mm. And that is where living and working came together, because we got to know each other so well that everybody became friends. And I think that unlike other industries, the tech world, you really are friends with the people that you are working with.
There's a passion behind it.
There's a passion behind it. The hours are long. Your family, in the sense that you fight and you disagree, but you are in... When it's magical, it's truly magical. And those experiences, people, you just pick up the phone, you say, you're from iVillage. I just was with somebody last week, and we started working together, decades ago.
Oh, wow.
When we were babies.
Yeah.
I mean, well, he was a baby anyway. So yes.
Radio was like that for me, where people in radio are passionate. We always used to say there are people in radio and then radio people. Mm. And yeah, you used to, like, they were a secondary family.
Right.
Oddly enough, the car business is like that too.
Really?
Yeah.
How so? Tell me.
Because I was in the car business for 3 years after radio. And it was really interesting because there's a lot of commonalities to, like, the talent on radio, I would say, is akin to the salespeople. They're the ones that are on stage performing in a way. As you because you're spending a ton of time with these people, you get to know them.
Right.
And you have your little groups and cliques, and there are people that get very passionate about that business, but for the most part, they're, passing through. It's got high turnover. But I just found it to be very, typically passion driven. I went from Honda to a Mercedes store, much more so at the Mercedes store because of the brand.
Right.
It was such a cool brand to represent.
A lot of pride of association.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, I think that people are passionate collectors of cars, and they get under the hood. And so if you are in an industry or you're working in a place where you can get under the hood in a way and you can actually touch and feel what it is you're working on, I think it changes those dynamics completely.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Hi, I'm Jason Miller. I'm the owner of Christian Brothers Automotive here in Spring Hill, Tennessee. We fix cars here, both European and domestic, from simple oil changes to complete engine rebuilds and replacements. Most important thing, though, is while you're waiting, we've got the best snack game in town, and we invite you to make yourself at home and get to know us, and we treat you like family. We're located right across the street from Walmart on Highway 31 right here in Spring Hill. Let us know that you heard about us on this ad, and we'll give you 10% off your next oil change. So stop on in and see us in downtown Spring Hill. Do we even have a downtown in Spring Hill?
So moving on, getting into some of the other areas that you've worked, you were at Hearst, and doing what you're doing now. Tell me a little bit about that.
So I'm doing a couple of things now. Mm-hmm. One is, a couple of years ago, I launched a new tech company. Mm-hmm. And it is around collaboration but that makes it sound like it's a productivity thing. It really isn't. What we've built is a peer powered network where it does enhance collaboration, but it allows you to build your reputation.
Right.
And I feel really passionately that we live in a world where we don't get to really know and own our reputation, and we don't feel in control of influencing it enough.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I have some thoughts on that. I never thought about having, I always have been a big proponent of knowing what you can control, but I guess you can't control how it's being received, no matter how you're putting it out.
No, you can't control that, but what you can do is be conscious of it and not fall victim to it. So one of the rules I have is that people reach out to me all the time, especially if I'm doing speaking engagements, to connect on LinkedIn. And this is controversial because there are many people who are building their businesses off of LinkedIn. Yeah. And I'm not building my business in the same way off of LinkedIn. And they connect with you and you say yes, and you don't know them, right? They're sitting in the audience or they come and shake your hand. And what people don't realize is behind the scenes that you're now connected to that person, and how that person impacts your reputation.
Right. Your association.
You're associated with it. And there are all these interconnected webs. And so where you can control is to say, I'm not going to fall victim to the idea that I have to have 1,000 connections or 500, whatever the number is these days, because LinkedIn has set the bogey. So people are just collecting connections to say they have a lot of them. They may not be good connections. They may not be with people you want to be associated with or you'll ever meet. So I think that we have a choice, depending upon what we're interested in doing and what we want our reputation to be, to say, you know what, I'm not going to connect with you until I've actually had a conversation with you.
Right.
I'm not saying that it has to be a lengthy one, but it could be one that's just really, you spend 10 minutes with a person so that you know something about them and they know something about you. And also because how many times do we get somebody who says to us, would you connect? I see you're connected to so-and-so. Could you make that connection for me? And you realize you don't know that person. And then it reflects poorly. And so we can't control what AI or what algorithms LinkedIn puts on it. But what we can control are some of the inputs that go into it and get comfortable with that.
You make such a good point. I never thought about it that way because LinkedIn didn't start that way. LinkedIn was like an online networking site based on the people that you knew, like you're talking about.
Right.
And having those actual community, those connections. And I had a friend of mine that used to do LinkedIn training live because he was like a LinkedIn master, and he would explain the first, second, and third level connections. And he's like, think about it like this, because we were also huge into B&I, which is person to person.
Yep.
Hand to hand combat marketing is what I call it. You never think about it that way. It's like LinkedIn has become just like social media for business.
That's what it is. It's what it is. I just want
to broadcast my message out to a whole bunch of people, and that's so true. Because I don't really get asked to be connected to other people. I usually am reached out and be like, hey, Jim, I see that you're a part of this podcast group and blah, blah, blah. Let me tell you all about what I do. And it's like a 3-page dissertation. Right. And I'm like, I don't even know you, man.
Right.
And then they start pinging you like, hey, have you read my stuff? Hey, are we a fit or what? And it's like, they start getting like almost,
Yeah. You're stalked. You're being stalked.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know what made you think that I owe you a response. I don't know.
Well,
who you
know why? Because somebody, someplace, some machine, someplace is checking whether or not you're replying.
No.
And so we feel all this pressure, but it's not the pressure for the right things. So getting comfortable knowing what the right things are for you and feeling like it's okay to do what's right is real important. That's one way.
What do you, how do you begin? How are people like, do they typically react like I did? Well, because I'm not sure if a lot of people are even aware of that.
I think it makes people a little uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I think that all of a sudden they realize it and then they rationalize it's okay because they feel the peer pressure to how many connections do you have? How many friends do you have? How many followers do you have? I think the follower piece on LinkedIn has made a difference because you can just push people there as opposed to being a true connection.
Right.
Of course, what do you do with all the people that are your connections that really should be moved over to follower? I haven't figured that out. I'm sure somebody who's listening or watching this could send me and let me know how to fix that. So I think it makes people uncomfortable. Some people respond. And then some people just go back to the way it was because it's easier. It's just easier until it's not easy.
Yeah. Have you seen, there's a Reddit group called LinkedIn Lunatics.
Oh, I need to go check that out.
Oh, man. It's very entertaining.
Is it?
Yeah. They're sitting there pointing out all the people that they come out with. It's like the more not shocking, but profound some of their thoughts are, where it's like, okay, I get what you're saying, but what? Yeah, they're trying to, so many people trying to be influencers these days.
Well, they do. And, the thing is that I've been in tech forever. So anthropology to technology, I have developed, I can hack things, not anymore in the way I could, a long time ago. And you got to embrace technology. So none of what I'm saying is don't embrace it, but be conscious of it.
Yeah.
Let yourself lead it rather than follow it. So go try it out. I just tried vibe coding because I needed to build a prototype and I had never done this before. And it took a while and it took somebody to explain to me how I should talk to it so that it vibe coding. So it's an AI driven, piece of software and you give it a prompt. And so I said, I would like to build a prototype of XYZ, and these are the features of it. It was like a paragraph, and it literally shows, it says thinking, and then the next thing I know, it populates a screen, and there's the prototype. And then I look at the prototype and I say, I like this, but I'd also like you to do this to it. And it goes off and it does. It says it's thinking and it goes off and then it crashes. And then it says you panic because you think all the work you've done has just been lost. And then it figures, it says, I'm figuring out where the problem was and I'm typing in, are you going to find it? And it says yes. And so you're talking to it like it's a person and it is not a person.
Right.
And I've just tried this out. And what's really, I could never have prototyped the way I did. And then I learned where the limitations are. And I think that we all, I don't care what one does for a living, you are touching technology and running from it isn't the answer. Just got to try it out and figure it out and figure out what works and what doesn't work for you.
Does your garage door sound like this? If it does, it's screaming for help. Call Incredible Doors, 931-348-DOOR. We're making garage doors in Murray and Williamson counties work better and sound better. We just make them incredible again. Go to IncredibleDoors.com or call 931-348-DOOR. Follow us on Facebook for specials on maintenance visits, keypads, and other items. 931-348-DOOR. IncredibleDoors.com.
It's amazing how I'm seeing the writing on the wall in so many different areas and how AI is just going to shake things up. There's so many people out there. I mean, within the first year that we started, it became probably a regular part of the American vernacular as far as people knowing about AI. I'd say we're probably, AI is akin to the internet probably in circa 1996 right now. People know it, but I don't really know how it's going to apply to me. But you get all the, entrepreneur bros. I've created a course to show you how you can use AI. You're using it all wrong. You're not asking it the right stuff. They hook you that way. But I'm seeing a lot of industries, like the music industry, the songwriting industry, is going to be massively upheaved, especially around here. It's crazy.
In what ways?
They're using AI to co-write songs.
That's what I was going to ask you. It's all about the writing of the words.
Yeah, and Spotify is the major gatekeeper, and a lot of the songwriters here in town depend on radio, terrestrial radio. They love it because those are the old ways they got paid, right. And radio is going down. It's not getting the listenership it used to. And I'm like, guys, you got to think about what's next here. And it's oddly enough, a lot of them are turning to podcasting. Thank you very much. And I produce their podcast for them. But Spotify is the next radio, the distribution platform.
Sure, I see that.
And eventually, it's like right now, they don't like Spotify because of the amount of royalties they pay, or they're minuscule.
It's no different than the App Store.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So I said, what happens when you start getting AI artists and AI written songs?
Sorry to interrupt you. I that's the thing that music, and I was the talent coordinator for Farm Aid.
Yeah.
And so much of music is personal to all of us because the writers are telling their stories.
But AI's got the depth of human history.
That's right. That's the thing that's so fascinating to me is to see, the power to influence culture that music has had universally, right? It's a universal language. I say music's a universal language in finances. You can look at numbers and tell the story. You don't even need to understand what language the rows and the columns are. It is, right? Like P&L and profit and losses, you got revenue and you've got expenses, and you can figure the math out. And you can do that anywhere, right? It's the same anywhere. And music is the same thing. So just think how powerful it is if an AI is programmed to do songs a certain way, and how it can totally change culture.
It's because you can dictate.
That's dystopian. That part's dystopian to me.
And it's scary, but exciting at the same time. I came across a concept the other day. Someone had mentioned, if you're going to quit tomorrow. And I'm like, ooh, that's a good song title. It's motivating.
Oh, yeah. It is motivating.
It makes you think. I'm like, make a country song in the realm of whoever, and, based on the notion of if you're going to quit tomorrow. And I could write that song in 3 minutes based on some of the AI programs out there, softwares. and, it'll produce it for you. You can adjust the different, you can tweak it and everything. You could literally create an artist around that. And it's like, until Spotify decides to go, you know what, why are we paying anything to these artists? We'll just go with the AI artists and just flip a switch. They could actually drive people and promote music that's just completely AI driven. They have that much power. It's scary.
It's very scary. That's why I say it's dystopian. Because you don't have control over it. And it's dependent on who the head of Spotify is.
Right.
Right? I mean, that's the same thing, for movie studios, whoever was or book publishers, that you could have a deal, and if the book publisher got fired, you could lose your book deal because that wasn't what they wanted. So now Spotify will be worried about who the Spotify owner is.
The guy I was telling you about earlier, Roy H. Williams, who wrote the trilogy of books, he had a quote that says, "Technology is a freight train coming down the tracks, and it doesn't care who's standing on them."
That's right.
It
doesn't hurt.
It doesn't. It
doesn't get hurt, right? Like there's no engineer who is going to plow through the person and have their life ruined because they just ran over people. Yeah. It's not a human.
I think live music is going to be okay. People still want to see live music and bands and things of that nature. So if you're in that area, it's going to be interesting to see. I know a lot of songwriters, and I said, the good thing is, guys, that your next life could be in podcasting. So go that way, And,
I think that to your point, live events are irreplaceable.
Yeah.
Even in a home on a big screen with a bunch of your friends, it's not the same thing as being in a venue with the sound going. I mean, there's nothing like being in that stadium for a concert.
Yeah.
So you can't replace that, but the songs that are going into it, you could replace with AI.
Yeah.
To your point.
AI is almost like when electric drums came out back in the 80s and everyone thought that drummers were going to be replaced. And I'm going, I could see that. My kids are big into discerning whether it's AI or not.
Are they good at it?
Oh, they call me out all the time because I get taken. I'll come across, I love owls, and I came across some video on, doom scrolling, and I'm like, look at the size of that owl. That thing's massive. And it looked completely genuine. I'm like, look at this. And my daughter's like, Dad, that's AI. I'm like, son of a...
I know my kids call it out all the time. Just like in movies, they can tell what's the CGI.
And it's like, for this next generation, I thought our BS meter was finally attuned. Oh my gosh, they're not going to believe anything.
The question is, are they going to care? That's the question, will they care?
Ooh, interesting. Yeah.
Are they bothered by it? Or is it just amusing that is it a game to figure it out, but will they care to fight back against it in some circumstances?
I don't even know how you begin to fight back. I mean, James Cameron tried to warn us.
Yes. It's not the only one. It's just hard.
What is it you're looking to do and moving forward? What do you want to talk about?
I just really care deeply about reputation and credibility. And I want people to feel control over it. I want some core principles that we have in what we're doing is that everybody's a customer of the experience. So you and I are both customers of this experience that you and I are doing, and we both have the power to make it better, the opportunity to. And I want people to recognize that it doesn't matter the hierarchy. Like, I might be a guest, you might be the host, but we both have opportunity to make it better.
Right.
And we should take that power, because otherwise we're just complainers. So, we should do that. The other is that I believe strongly that it's a basic human need to give and receive recognition. Basic human need. Acknowledgement. There's nothing worse than either feeling like, if I want to say that so-and-so's phenomenal, that I don't have an outlet for that. I'm talking about the positives. I'm not into the negatives. I'm not into, it's cheap shot. It's a cheap shot just to say, oh, that person sucks, or that book is terrible, when you're not writing it, or there's nothing constructive in it. I think it's so interesting that it is really hard for people to give out recognition in a meaningful way that feels good to another person. And this is not about money. And it is very hard to get to receive. The flip of it is to receive it. And I think it's a basic human need. Just like there's a need to receive hugs.
Yeah.
And so I care deeply that we should be able to do that And I also believe that our experiences should not be siloed by borders of like what company we work with or a nonprofit, whatever it is. So I am focused on how do you break down those barriers and how can you build your own reputation that you can take with you that's not behind a wall.
It sounds like you're describing Gary V. You know Gary?
I know
Gary
the name.
Vaynerchuk?
Oh, yes, of course.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's very big on positivity. A lot of people in the business space, especially at his level, are huge into positivity and talking about it and putting it out there, and not in a toxic positivity way. There are people that like it's like surface level type of positivity, but then there's people that just go deep on it. And it's something, I mean, I can get negative as well, but it's...
Yeah. I think about it, it's not a word I would have used with what we're doing. It's about...
acknowledgement and positivity.
It's about saying, like, this person made a real contribution to this meeting, or these people did. And it's about being able to recognize oneself, not just other people.
Yeah.
And so it's not a vanity thing, and it's not positive for positive sake. It's like, did this person bring other people along? Like it's about like, it's meaty. It's not vain. There's nothing vain about it. And it's about me. If I'm a leader and nobody is recognizing me, maybe I need to think about, we've had that. We've had people say, the leader gets everybody, and there's about transparency. So you don't know, there's psychological safety, but everybody sees everybody else's responses in aggregate. And there are leaders that don't get any recognition, and they have to think about, I thought that was a great experience. I'm doing a great job of leading, but nobody else is looking like
I'm not
they
getting
do.
any feedback from my subordinates. And I think the subordinates are probably thinking, well, if I give the leader feedback, and it's going to look like I'm brown nosing.
Right. But in what we've built, they don't have to worry about that.
Right. Interesting.
And they also are able to say, like, they feel overwhelmed. And when can you ever be truthful? So it's a psychologically safe way to be truthful, all in the pursuit of doing things better and making your time more valuable and satisfying. We'll see.
And just living life, working to live.
That's right. It all is tied together because you don't want to be in crappy situations. And if you could learn that, what's crappy for you.
How do our listeners find out more about you and connect with you on a real level? So if you're listening, don't just connect with her. Make sure you reach out and have a little, kvetch a little bit,
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. Well, you can reach me on my Gmail. That's easy place to be. And I do look at it and I will respond, which is just plain old Beth Polish at gmail.com. You can also reach me at Beth P, just the initial P, at stretch, STRETCH.FYI.
Interesting. No social medias, no nothing? Or
you can get me on LinkedIn, you can get me on Facebook, whatever. You can do all those things.
Website you want to promote at all?
You can just go to stretch.FYI and see.
Gotcha.
It's a little old and dated.
That's all right.
That's okay. You can see it. And look, there's only one person that has my name, and it's my cousin, but she goes by Elizabeth, so you'll find me. If you want to find me, you can find me.
Well, very cool. Well, thank you for being on. And of course, if you're listening, all those details will be in the description. If you want to follow along, if you want to find us, I always say that. Follow along or share this episode. If you got some value out of it, please do. Everything will be at mmtbp.com. That's Mostly Middle Tennessee Business Podcast. You could spell it out too. That's a .com, but I've truncated it, so it's mmtbp.com. All those things are there. You can even apply to be a guest. And so please share it out. Give us a 5-star rating if we're worthwhile. If we're not, let me know how we can become a 5-star podcast, or just do your thing and leave your own review.
That's exactly, I completely agree with you on that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Because 5 stars that are meaningless are not 5 stars.
Yeah, you're trying to encourage it, but you realize that that's not reality. You're almost attracted to things that are like 4.2 stars because that's more. It's like, we're good, but we're not perfect.
Right, and that's at the heart of what we're doing is exactly that. So thank you so much. It's delightful to meet you.
Absolutely.
And I look forward to more conversations.
Likewise. Thanks for being on, Beth.
Thank you.